Welcome to the exploration of two words you hear everywhere today: data and information. In today's digital world, these terms are thrown around constantly, in news headlines, business meetings, and even casual coffee chats. Data-driven decisions, information access, data security, data ethics, you name it. But here's the twist. While we often use data and information interchangeably, they're not the same thing. Not even close. What is data? What is information? So let's untangle this digital spaghetti to better understand the difference. Let's start with a question. Which of these statements do you think are technically correct? The presented data was insightful. Sales data is ready to present to the board. Here is all the data you need to understand our company. The information needs to be stored in the cloud before analysis. By the end of this video, you'll not only be able to spot these common mistakes and sound smarter in meetings, but you'll also be able to describe what your fitness tracker is really telling you: data or information. It's easy to confuse the two. Your phone collects data about your steps, but shows you information about calories burned. Your weather app uses data from sensors around the world, but presents you with information about whether to bring an umbrella today. This confusion extends to discussions about artificial intelligence too. When people talk about feeding data to AI or AI generating information, what exactly do they mean? Let's break down these concepts. Let's start with data. Simply put, data is raw facts and observations that on their own have no context or meaning. Data comes in many forms: numbers in a spreadsheet, text in documents, pixels in images, sound waves in audio files, and countless other formats. What makes it data is that it's in its raw state. It hasn't been processed or analyzed yet. Think of it as the raw ingredients before cooking a meal. Without context, it's not usable, like hearing 42 and not knowing if it's your age, your IQ, or the answer to life, the universe, and everything. The word data is actually Latin for things given, and it's not something new. Humans have been collecting data for thousands of years. Ancient civilizations recorded harvests on clay tablets. Medieval merchants kept ledgers of transactions. The census has been collecting population data since Roman times. Data isn't new. What's new is the scale and speed at which we collect it today. Let's look at some other examples. The temperature reading of 25 degrees Celsius from a weather sensor is data. It's just a number. Your birthday on a form is data. The pixels that make up a digital photograph are data. The list of items in your shopping cart is data. The coordinates from your GPS are data. The content of an Excel spreadsheet is data. We usually like to make data in the form of tables where variables or features are in columns, and each row is an instance or observation. Data by itself doesn't tell us much. For data to become useful, it needs to be processed, organized, and analyzed. Data tables put together all the data points and help us understand the meaning of data. This is where information is born. Information is the meaning and a product of data that has been processed and explained to be meaningful to its recipients. It's data with context, relevance, and purpose. While data is like individual puzzle pieces, information is what you get when you connect those pieces to see the bigger picture. It tells a story. It answers a question. Let's look at how data becomes information. Let's start with an example. Imagine looking at your clothing purchase receipts from last year in a table. At first glance, it's just raw data: dates, items, colors, prices, and seasons. Facts without context or meaning. Simple calculations like adding spending by season, counting items by type, transform these disconnected facts into meaningful information. Now you can answer, how much did I spend each season? And what types of clothing do I buy most often? With this information, you can make smarter decisions, perhaps budgeting more for winter clothing or reconsidering buying additional tops. This is how raw data becomes valuable information that helps you shop more effectively and manage your clothing budget better. Let's look at another example. The navigation app on your phone collects raw data: your current GPS coordinates, your destination address, and movement speed. It analyzes this data along with crowdsourced information from other users, their positions, speeds, and traffic sensors. The app then presents meaningful information, multiple route options with estimated arrival times, traffic conditions, and potential delays. This information lets you make an informed decision about which route to take based on whether you prioritize time, distance, or avoiding traffic. This is how useful information is born by analyzing raw and disconnected data. Now, just to be clear, information is not the same as misinformation or disinformation. Misinformation is wrong by accident. Disinformation, that's wrong on purpose. Big difference and a big deal. Data generates information when it's processed, organized, structured, or presented in a way that makes it meaningful and useful. This transformation is part of what's called the DIKW pyramid. Data, information, knowledge, and wisdom. Information answers what, where, who, and when. The why and what next. That's where knowledge and wisdom come in. Knowledge and wisdom are the higher-level products of data and information that will be explained in next videos. Let's put some numbers to the digital explosion happening around us. By the end of today, humans will have created 2.5 quintillion bytes of data. That's 2.5 followed by 18 zeros. To visualize this, if each byte were a grain of sand, we'd create enough data daily to fill 57 billion standard beach buckets, which is enough to bury the Earth. Every minute, we send 12 million text messages, upload 500 hours of YouTube content, and share 147,000 photos on Facebook. Google processes 5.9 billion searches daily, while 333 million people log into Twitter each day. And guess what? You're a part of it. The average person generates 1.7 megabytes of data every second. Congratulations. You're basically a data fountain. Your smartphone alone creates and processes 1 gigabyte of data per week. This data needs to be stored somewhere. We have digital databases, cloud storage, and data warehouses that can store trillions of data points. Companies employ sophisticated database management systems to organize data, backup systems to protect it, and search algorithms to retrieve it. Every time you search for something online, you're accessing vast stores of data that have been carefully organized for quick retrieval. This is what makes data engineers busy with organizing massive amount of data and making automated systems for data storage and retrieval. Databases, cloud storage and computation, and data warehouses are covered in other videos in this channel. Information is typically organized into reports, visualizations, summaries, and stories. We store information in documents, presentations, websites, and knowledge management systems. It's packaged for human consumption, to inform, educate, and drive decisions. This is why data scientists and analysts are in such high demand. They transform overwhelming amounts of data into meaningful information. By the way, do you remember when I told you about data engineers working on data? That's a different role from data scientists who are mostly focused on information. Data engineers build the systems that collect and organize data to be accessible, while data scientists transform that data into meaningful insights and knowledge. Artificial intelligence represents the next evolution in our relationship with data and information. AI systems are trained on massive data sets, billions of data points that help these systems recognize patterns and make predictions. AI transforms data into information at unprecedented speed and scale. Your voice assistant turns sound wave data into information about what song to play. Image recognition turns pixel data into information about what's in a photo. Machine learning algorithms turn customer behavior data into information about what products you might like. As we look to the future, our relationship with data and information will continue to evolve. New technologies will emerge for collecting, analyzing, and visualizing data. Ethical questions about data privacy and ownership will become increasingly important, and our ability to derive meaningful information from the ocean of available data will become an even more valuable skill. Looking ahead, we're seeing some fascinating developments in how we handle data and information. Augmented reality is creating new ways to visualize information. Blockchain technology is changing how we verify data, and edge computing is allowing data processing to happen closer to where data is generated. As these technologies mature, they'll transform our relationship with data and information yet again. These aren't just questions for tech companies and governments. They affect all of us. Understanding the difference between data and information isn't just academic. It's an essential skill for the modern world. Data literacy, or the ability to read, understand, create, and communicate with data, is becoming as important as traditional literacy, both for managers and organizations leaders, and also for employees in every branch of a business. Being data literate helps you evaluate the credibility of information, make better decisions based on evidence, understand how AI and algorithms affect your life, protect your personal data, and communicate more effectively in a data-driven world. So to recap, data is raw, unprocessed facts and figures. Information is what emerges when data is analyzed, organized, and given context and meaning. Both are essential components of our digital world, and understanding the difference helps us navigate our information-rich environment. Remember that question from the beginning of our video? Now you should be able to spot the technical mistakes. The presented data was insightful. Incorrect. Data itself isn't insightful. The information we derive from analyzing data provides insights. Sales data is ready to present to the board. Not quite right. If it's presentation ready, you're dealing with information, not raw data. Here is all the data you need to understand our company. Another mistake. Understanding comes from information, not raw data. The information needs to be stored in the cloud before analysis. Incorrect. Unanalyzed material is raw data, not information. Thanks for watching. If you found this information valuable, please like and subscribe for more videos that help demystify the digital world around us. What would you like to learn about next? Drop your topic suggestions in the comments below. And don't forget to visit our website and YouTube channel for more videos on data, AI, and the latest advancements in the digital world.